I proposed to my girlfriend for the 9th time, and she still turned me down. She said impatiently, "David, are you annoying or what? I've told you many times that I advocate freedom and don't want to be tied down by marriage. If you keep forcing me to get married, let's break up." When I was hospitalized after a car accident, she, who advocated freedom, accompanied her male best friend and had a wild time in the bar until dawn. After I was discharged from the hospital, I proposed. Supposed to break up, half a year later, she came to find me. She said, "Stop messing around. Come back with me. Is it okay if I promise to marry you? However, you have to promise me that even after marriage, you can't restrict my right to pursue freedom. I don't want to be a housewife hovering around the stove all day long. I have my own social circle." Before she could finish her words, I said softly, "I'm getting married next month." Lying on the hospital bed, I felt a bit dazed. I had loved her for 7 years and was eager to build a small family with her, but she didn't agree. 3 hours ago, I proposed to my girlfriend Sophia for the 9th time. She rejected me again. This time, she was obviously very impatient. She said that she was a bird without feet that yearned for the sky and could only land once in its life, and that was when it died. She didn't want marriage to become her shackles. She advocated freedom and only wanted to be in a relationship. Instead of getting married, after being rejected by her, I walked on the street in a daze and was scratched by a car that had lost control. Fortunately, no bones were injured. According to the doctor, I could be discharged from the hospital after 2 days of observation. It was already late outside. I called Sophia many times, but she didn't answer any of them. Right after that, I saw Liam's WeChat moments. In the several pictures and videos in his moments, I could clearly see Sophia celebrating his birthday with Liam in the bar. They were holding hands and smiling sweetly. The caption below read, "Hold your hand and grow old together. My love for you will never change in this life." In the past, I would definitely have been furious. Immediately, questioned Sophia, and might even have gone straight to fight with Liam. But at this moment, I just felt a pang of sadness in my heart. I gave a like to Liam's WeChat moments and commented, "Wish you happiness." Then I threw my phone aside. My nose felt a bit sour, and I wanted to cry. However, I smiled a bitter smile. 7 years. I had loved her for 7 years. Over the years, my love for her had become more and more humble. I proposed to her 9 times, and she rejected me every time. On the surface, she and I were in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, but when she was with Liam, they seemed more like a couple. Even my friends around me said that I was more like a third party interfering in other people's relationship. Now I'm already tired. Someone once said that falling in love without the intention of getting married is just playing around, like a fish that bit the bait tightly and was never willing to let go. Precisely because of this, Sophia thought that I couldn't leave her. But didn't she know that feelings need the joint efforts and care of both sides? With only one side's effort, this relationship will never bear fruit. All I can say is that the one who is favored is fearless. Just as I was thinking about this, Sophia called. I hesitated for a moment and then answered the call. Before I could say anything, Sophia on the other end of the phone scolded impatiently. "David, what do you mean? What are you randomly commenting on Liam's WeChat moments for? I'm just celebrating his birthday with him in the bar. I didn't do anything else. Can't you be a bit more open-minded? I won't go back tonight. I'll go home tomorrow morning. Just make porridge with raw fish and wait for me." After saying that, she hung up the phone directly. I sighed, lay on the hospital bed, and memories of getting along with her over the years flashed through my mind. Sophia and I met in college. That winter, her parents passed away without a financial source. She started working part-time while studying. Every day, she would take part-time jobs outside school after classes to earn money. That night, I just came out of an internet cafe outside school and saw Sophia being harassed by a drunken guy. Without any hesitation, I went straight forward. To protect Sophia, the drunk man pointed at Sophia and shouted abusively, "If you don't pay back the money, I'll come to make trouble at your school gate every day from now on." Sophia's eyes were red, and she sobbed as she said, "My parents just passed away, and you came to ask me for money. Do you have any conscience?" The drunk man cursed loudly in a certain dialect, with an attitude of having nothing to lose, and said, "Anyway, I won't leave until I get the money. Paying back debts is a matter of course. I'll be in the right even if we go to court." I quietly asked Sophia what had happened. Sophia explained while crying. It turned out that her parents had previously partnered with someone to do a small business and still owed the final payment for the goods. Unexpectedly, Sophia's parents passed away suddenly. Sophia mortgaged and sold all the family property, but there were still tens of thousands of yuan left unpaid. Sophia had a rich plan to work part-time, live frugally, and pay off the remaining tens of thousands of yuan, little by little. Who would have thought that the creditor would come to her door? Seeing Sophia crying pitifully, my heart softened. Her family owes you money. I'll pay it back for her. I took out the IOU and said, "Get out of here with the money." After I transferred the money to the drunk man, He simply threw the IOU in front of me and left, cursing as he went. Sophia was extremely grateful to me and said that she would work hard to earn money to pay me back. I, however, put on a brave face and pretended to be generous. Then I ate steamed buns with pickles for quite a long time. Since then, I accompanied Sophia, worked part-time to earn money, and our relationship heated up rapidly. By the end of the second half of our freshman year, we established a romantic relationship. Like other young couples, we were also very sweet at the beginning. It wasn't until our junior year that some subtle changes occurred in our relationship because Liam was also admitted to this university. Liam and Sophia were neighbors. He was 2 years younger than Sophia and had been following her around since childhood. Sophia told me that she had always regarded Liam as a younger brother. I believed it at first, but as time went by, I felt that something was wrong. When Liam first met me, there was a bit of hostility in his eyes. At that time, I didn't take it seriously, thinking that it was normal for a younger brother to dislike his brother-in-law. However, later on, Liam went too far. He was very affectionate with Sophia in front of me and often interrupted my dates with her. As for these things, Sophia didn't think there was anything wrong. I complained a few times, and Sophia became unhappy, quarreling with me several times because of Liam's behavior. My friends also reminded me to be careful of Liam. If things continued like this, there would definitely be problems in my relationship with Sophia. After graduation, Sophia and I went to work in another city. Without Liam's interference, our relationship became much more stable. However, she rejected me every time I proposed to her. Last year, Liam graduated and unexpectedly came to the city where we worked. After that, Sophia often stuck with Liam. As before, as if she had forgotten that I was her legitimate boyfriend. I was really tired of maintaining this relationship. I couldn't sleep all night in the hospital, recalling the past in my mind. When it was dawn, my mobile phone rang again. It was Sophia calling. She said angrily, "David, where are you? Why aren't you at home? Didn't I ask you to make porridge with raw fish at home last night?" I said in a calm voice, "I was hit by a car, and I'm in the hospital now." Before long, Sophia came to the hospital. She came with Liam. Seeing that I was only scratched by the car and no bones were injured, Sophia finally breathed a sigh of relief. She frowned and complained to me, "I thought you were seriously injured. It's just a scratch. It's not a big deal. How old are you? You're still so careless. Can you be discharged from the hospital today? You can handle the discharge procedures by yourself later. Liam has an interview today, and I have to accompany him." Her boyfriend was hospitalized after a car accident, but she didn't care at all. Instead, she was still thinking about Liam's interview. In the past, I would definitely have been furious, but now, apart from regret, I don't have any other emotions. In my heart, what I regret is the 7 years of my youth, nothing more. Liam turned his back to Sophia, looked at me with a provocative and mocking look in his eyes, and said hypocritically, "David, I heard ... you proposed to Sister Sophia again yesterday. Could it be that you were accidentally hit by a car because your proposal was rejected? Sister Sophia and I are both non-marriage advocates. You should understand, Sister Sophia, I ignored him over the years. He deliberately tried to undermine the relationship between Sophia and me. Because of him, Sophia and I quarreled and had cold wars more and more frequently. Sometimes, Sophia even said that I didn't understand her as well as Liam did, and that I wasn't as good at taking care of her as Liam was. She said that Liam would never lecture her, but would only coax and care for her. All my efforts in this relationship over the years were not as good as Liam's sweet words in her eyes. Looking back now, I was so stupid in the past. Seeing that I didn't react, Liam was a bit reluctant to give up. He wanted to irritate me, make me lose my composure in front of Sophia, and make Sophia even more disappointed in me. He squinted at me and deliberately said, in an aggrieved tone, "David, I was celebrating my birthday in the bar last night. There were quite a lot of friends there, so just to show off, I posted that WeChat moment and just asked Sister Sophia to pretend to be my girlfriend. I really didn't mean anything else. I didn't expect that you would make such a comment under my WeChat moment." I showed it to Sister Sophia immediately. I wanted to explain it to you properly, but Sister Sophia got angry. How could you trust Sister Sophia so little? Looking at his hypocritical appearance, I said calmly, "Liam, has anyone ever told you that you're disgusting? If you like someone, go after her. You always like to play these underhanded tricks behind people's backs. Are you even a man? No wonder you were stripped naked and kicked into the lake in college back then." When we were in college, Liam got very close to a girl and showed his so-called care for her under the guise of being a warm-hearted guy. As a result, after the girl's boyfriend found out, he slapped Liam several times in public, stripped him of his clothes, and kicked him into the college lake in the middle of winter. This incident had always been a stain on Liam's reputation. After hearing what I said, Liam's face immediately turned extremely ugly. He stared at me viciously with his back to Sophia, then he quickly put on a look of grievance and said to me, in front of Sophia, "David, I really didn't mean anything else. Isn't it too much for you to say that about me? Sophia glared at me and scolded. David, did you get your head damaged in the car accident? Even if I rejected your proposal yesterday, and even if you were hit by a car, what does it have to do with Liam? If you're angry, don't take it out on him. Looking at Sophia with an unhappy expression, I sighed and said softly, from the moment you entered the ward until now, you haven't cared about the fact that I was hit by a car at all. Scolding and accusing me have become commonplace for you. Sophia, whose girlfriend are you exactly? I thought about it all night and always felt that there were already big problems in our relationship. I don't want to continue like this anymore. Let's break up. As soon as I said this, Sophia was stunned, instantly, while Liam's eyes suddenly lit up, showing excitement. Sophia became even angrier and said, David, what did you say? Say it again, if you dare. I took a deep breath, looked into her eyes, and said softly, I said I don't seem to love you as much as I used to. I'm really tired. You like freedom, and I'll give it to you. In these past few years, because of Liam's interference in our relationship, whenever Sophia and I had an argument or a cold war, she would propose to break up. Every time, I was the first to compromise and apologize to her. In her opinion, proposing to break up was her privilege, her trump card. So when I proposed to break up this time, while she was shocked and angry, there was also a bit of panic in her dot. After being in a relationship for several years, Sophia saw my determination, and the look of panic on her face became even more obvious. She quickly said, David, don't joke with me at this time. I know that I've neglected you recently, and that rejecting your proposal yesterday made you feel bad. I'll make it up to you. Haven't you always wanted to go traveling? After Liam's interview is successful and he smoothly joins the new company, let's go on a nice trip to relax. Okay, she was softening and compromising in a disguised way. Looking at the pleading and panic in her eyes, I took a deep breath. Just as I was about to respond, Liam quickly spoke up. David, Sister Sophia has done so much for you over the years. How can you say such heartless words? Do you think that by using the means of breaking up, you can force Sister Sophia to obey you in everything? After hearing his words, a look of suspicion appeared on Sophia's face, and her gaze towards me became strange. Perhaps she thought that I was like her, using the threat of breaking up to make her give in. I didn't want to get entangled anymore. Let her think whatever she wanted. After proposing to break up, although I felt regretful in my heart, I suddenly felt a lot lighter, as if some heavy shackles had been removed. Just as Sophia was about to say something, Liam quickly said again, Sister Sophia, it's almost time for my interview. Hearing this, Sophia showed a bit of hesitation. She looked at me and said, go to the company with Liam for the interview first. After that's done, I'll come back to help you with the discharge procedures. After we get home, we'll have a good talk, and don't be so childish anymore. I'll just pretend that you didn't say those words just now. After saying that, she kissed me on the cheek and hurriedly left the ward with Liam. At this moment, my heart for her was finally completely dead. In the afternoon, I handled the discharge procedures by myself. After returning to the apartment that Sophia and I rented, I started packing up my personal belongings, since I had already made up my mind to break up with her. I didn't want to be indecisive and get tangled up anymore. It's better to cut the Gordian knot to avoid any more changes if it drags on for too long. Although I was reluctant to part with this relationship, I didn't want to continue to wallow in pain in this relationship that was doomed to have no result. When night fell, Sophia came back. She came back with Liam. Both of them were clearly drunk, having obviously drunk a lot. They entered the apartment cheerfully. When they saw the packed suitcase I had prepared, they were immediately stunned. I looked at them calmly, dragged the suitcase, and said softly, sorry, I was planning to pack up my things and leave as soon as possible. But the toilet in the bathroom was broken, so I've been busy until now. I've put all my personal belongings into the suitcase, and I've already resigned from the company. We won't have a farewell dinner. That's it. Sophia quickly grabbed my suitcase and said anxiously, David, are you really going to break up with me? I helped Liam with his interview today and celebrated his successful entry into the company. I forgot to go to the hospital to handle your discharge procedures. You're not angry about that, are you? Can I apologize to you? Don't scare me. Before I could respond, Liam said, in a sarcastic tone, David, can't you be a bit more open? Sister Sophia even told me today that she would accompany you to travel to another place to relax in a few days. I know you don't like me. In the future, I'll just stay out of your sight. But don't use something like breaking up to threaten Sister Sophia. Sister Sophia has always been a strong-willed person. Now that she's already humbly apologized to you, just take the opportunity and let it go. He seemed to be persuading me, but in fact, he was just adding fuel to the fire. After hearing Liam's words, Sophia, who had been drinking, raised her eyebrows. Sophia let go of the suitcase and looked at me a bit angrily, saying, I've already admitted my mistake to you. That's enough. She was angry. In her opinion, my behavior at this moment was just like what Liam said, deliberately using the threat of breaking up to control her. At this point, I didn't want to explain anything anymore. I took a deep look at Sophia. This woman whom I had loved deeply for 7 years might have really loved me at first, or perhaps she was just with me out of gratitude because I helped her pay off the debt. Now, I didn't even know how much of a presence I still had in her heart. None of that mattered anymore. Before leaving through the door, I said softly to her, "Liam is not a man worthy of spending a lifetime with. I once loved you deeply and don't want to see you get hurt. However, it seems that I'm no longer qualified to interfere in your life. You said that you're a bird without feet that yearns for freedom and doesn't want to be tied down. I'll set you free and also free myself. From now on, I won't be in your life anymore. Take care. Farewell forever." Before Sophia could say anything, Liam looked at me with a fierce look in his eyes and said, "There are plenty of good men in the world. Do you, David, think that only you are a good man? Sister Sophia is such an outstanding woman, and countless people are chasing after her. If you break up with Sister Sophia, it will definitely be your loss. I do like Sister Sophia. I've liked her since I was a kid. If you don't want Sister Sophia anymore, I will definitely make her happy. Just wait and regret it." Liam's instigation made Sophia's drunkenness rush to her head. She shouted at me angrily, "David, if you dare to walk out of this door today, I'll let Liam move in right away. He's right. There are plenty of good men. If you dare to break up with me, I can find a new boyfriend to replace you immediately. I'll give you one last chance. What you just said was too much. No, apologize to Liam. I'll pretend that nothing happened tonight." At a time like this, she still wanted me to apologize to Liam. From this, it could be seen that she really loved Liam. That's right. Over the years, in her heart, Liam's position had always been higher than mine. In the past, I pretended to be stupid and didn't want to admit it. Now, I didn't want to wrong myself anymore. I dragged the suitcase and walked out of the apartment door without looking back. I said softly, "Sophia, I don't love you as much as I used to, or rather, I don't have the same persistence as before. For the rest of my life, I hope we never see each other again. After breaking up, we can't be friends because we've hurt each other. After breaking up, we can't pretend not to know each other either because we've loved each other. So it's best that we don't see each other in the future. That's the greatest respect for this relationship." After leaving the apartment, I took a plane and went back to my hometown. I deleted all the contact information of Sophia and Liam. From now on, I hoped that they would never appear in my life again. My parents were very happy about my return to my hometown and also asked why Sophia didn't come back with me. We broke up. I've resigned and want to travel around. I won't stay at home for too long this time. After hearing what I said, Mom looked at me with concern all over her face. Just as she was about to say something, Dad gave her a glare. That night, Dad drank 2 bottles of white wine with me and said to me drunkenly, "Your mom and I can't be of much help with your future path. The only thing we can do is not interfere in any of your affairs. Children and grandchildren will have their own fortunes. No matter what choices you make, your parents will always support you. If you're tired, just come home and take a rest. All you need to remember is that this home will always be your safe haven." I burst into tears. Taking advantage of the drunkenness, I vented out all the grievances in my heart over the years, and then I passed out drunk. In my dream, I went back to those green years and saw Sophia. Dreams are beautiful and memorable. Rise are also beautiful. However, in the end, they can't escape the cruelty of reality. After sobering up, before I could savor the regret and sadness of this relationship, I heard some noise coming from my parents' bedroom. Peeking through the crack of the bedroom door, I saw Dad kneeling beside the bed while Mom was looking at Dad fiercely with a feather duster in her hand. Mom shouted angrily, "Did you feel like you suffered a great loss when you married me, you old thing? At your age, you're still thinking about those women from the past. Last night, you got drunk with our son and cried loudly while hugging him. Aren't you ashamed? Tell me clearly today, who is Tu and who is that vixen named Ching?" Dad explained, with a sad face, "Honey, they were just passers-by in my life. You're the only one for me. Last night, our son was so sad and crying like that. As his father, I didn't know how to comfort him, so I could only use some things from my youth to enlighten him. I swear, it's not what you think. You're the only one I truly love." I, who was eavesdropping at the door, couldn't help twitching at the corners of my eyes. I originally wanted to go in and persuade Mom not to make Dad kneel for too long. After all, Dad's knees were not in good condition. But then I thought better of it. Mom was in a fit of anger. If I joined in to help Dad at this time, there would be one more kneeling attendant beside Dad. I couldn't bear Mom's sarcastic remarks towards Dad and Dad's obsequious behavior towards Mom. After staying at home for just a few days, I quickly went out for a trip. In these past few years, I had been working hard just wanting to be able to give Sophia a warm home in the future. Now, after breaking up, I wanted to see the outside world. I had once promised her that we would travel all over the beautiful landscapes of our motherland and see more of the outside world together. However, that guy Liam had always been interfering in our relationship, which made it so that we never had the chance to go on a trip. This time, no one could stop me. When I was packing my backpack and getting ready to go out, Mom came over. With her mobile phone, with a rather strange look on her face, Sophia called our mobile phone and said she wanted to have a good chat with you. I shook my head and said simply, "There's nothing to talk about anymore." Mom nodded with relief and hung up. Sophia called directly, saying to me, "Good job. You're really my son. When it's time to cut it off, you mustn't be indecisive about relationships. Don't be like your scoundrel father who keeps thinking about other women while having a wife at home." Dad looked at me pitifully and kept winking at me, asking me to say something for him. Without saying a word, I ran out of the house, letting Dad deal with Mom, who was full of resentment, by himself. In the next 3 months, I traveled all over the country. I experienced the icy coldness and solemnity in the far north, the spring-like climate all year round in the south, the vastness in the west, and the brilliant prosperity in the east. Finally, I stayed in a small coastal city because this was the place where my soul belonged. Over the years, influenced by Sophia's advocacy of freedom, I also wanted to fly freely like a bird. Without any constraints, I thought that I would gradually get used to such a life. However, in less than 2 months, I got tired of it. There is no absolute freedom in this world. Those who want to pursue absolute freedom, to put it bluntly, are just unwilling to take on the problems and responsibilities they have to face. These words were said by Grace when we were in college. Grace was Sophia's roommate and also a travel companion I met during this trip. Her home is in this small coastal city. I ran into Grace by chance in the vast northwest region back in college. She and Sophia were roommates, so I was quite familiar with her. After not seeing each other for several years, her appearance hadn't changed much, but her personality had changed a little. She wasn't as outgoing and generous as before, and seemed a bit gloomy. In the vast northwest region, after the bonfire dinner, she was sitting alone on a stone by the roadside, looking at the starry sky. When I strolled over, she heard my footsteps, gave me a faint smile, and then continued looking at the sky. I said with a smile, "Haven't seen you for a few years. Have you taken a liking to studying the starry sky?" She said softly, "To be precise, I've liked looking at the stars since my mother passed away. I always feel that she hasn't left. I always think that she has turned into a star and is watching over me. Look, that brightest star is twinkling. I feel that's my mom responding to me." I looked at that twinkling star and said, in a low voice, "Are you nearsighted? That's an orbital satellite." Grace gave me a sideways glance and snorted in annoyance. I sat down beside her, looked at the starry sky, and sighed. I missed too many beautiful sceneries in the past. During this period of traveling, I've met so many people and experienced so many things. I feel like my soul has undergone a baptism. Once you figure some things out, you'll find that those hurdles that once seemed insurmountable are just passing clouds in life. It's nothing more than birth, aging, illness, and death. Just laugh off the rest. Do you think my realization is quite profound? Grace curled her lips and replied, "David, are you trying to comfort me, or have you had an epiphany after being dumped and are planning to become a monk?" I gave her a sideways glance and didn't respond. The two of us just looked at the starry sky like that. We didn't say a word for a long time, enjoying this tranquility. Later, Grace took the initiative to ask me about Sophia. If it were according to my previous temper, I definitely wouldn't have said much. I didn't want to let others comment on my own affairs. Now I had already let go of that relationship, so I calmly and frankly told Grace what had happened between Sophia and me after graduation. Listening, Grace sighed softly and said, "Losing you is her loss." I joked, "You also think I'm a good man, right? Are you attracted to me since I'm single now? Considering we're acquaintances, I can give you a chance to take advantage of the situation." In the past, Grace would definitely have replied with a big smile, saying something like she wouldn't poach from her own side. But now, she nodded, and simply said to me, I was stunned, and then said with an awkward smile, "I was just joking. I didn't mean to flirt with you." Before I could finish my words, she said to me, "I'm serious. Your care and love for Sophia back then made me envious. I also want to experience what it's like to be favored." Since that night, Grace and I had traveled to many places together, and our relationship gradually grew deeper. 3 months later, I came to Grace's home, settled down in this small coastal town, and ran a small store with her. Life was relaxed and pleasant when I was with her. She would take care of my emotions, and I also cared for her with extra tenderness. Love is complementary. We can't just see each other's strengths, but also need to tolerate each other's weaknesses. Grace and I both did a good job in this regard. With her, I really found a place where my soul belonged. I wanted to propose to her. I had proposed to Sophia 9 times before, and all failed, so I had a psychological shadow about proposing. After being with Grace, I had wanted to propose several times, but every time the words were on the tip of my tongue, I swallowed them back. Just half a year after Grace and I were together, I summoned up my courage and was about to propose and then take her back to my hometown to meet my parents. However, before I could open my mouth, she looked at me with bright eyes, as if she could see through what was on my mind. On this evening, the setting sun shone on her. She smiled at me and said, "David, I want to get married." I was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, "Beautiful Miss Grace, will you marry me?" She smiled brightly and nodded. "Yes." I took Grace home a few months ago. When I was traveling in other places, I had already told my parents about Grace and me. They had a very good impression of Grace because, in their eyes, it was Grace who pulled me, who was depressed after a breakup, out of the abyss of loneliness. As soon as we got home, after seeing the gentle and generous Grace, Dad and Mom were even more satisfied. Right away, Mom and Dad started calling relatives and friends to arrange our wedding. On the second day after returning to my hometown, Sophia came to our door. I was very curious about how she knew that I had come home. After all, not only had I deleted her contact information, but Mom and Dad had also blocked Sophia's contact details. Grace said, "I posted on WeChat Moments." She must have seen it and rushed over as soon as possible. I looked at Grace helplessly and complained, "You're really causing trouble for me. What do you want to reunite us?" Grace gently punched me, said in annoyance, "I just want to completely end that relationship of yours before we get married." I curled my lips and muttered, "Women are so petty. I think you just love to watch the excitement and make things worse." Before Grace could say anything, Mom glared at me and said, "Hurry up and make things clear. Don't get entangled with other women anymore in the future. If you dare to be like your father, I'll break your legs." Dad smiled dryly and kept winking at me. Half a year has passed, but the incident where Dad told me some of his romantic affairs back then to comfort me hasn't been forgotten yet. Mom will probably remember it for the rest of her life. Every now and then, she'll find fault with Dad and beat him up. Dad has sacrificed so much for me. I walked to the door of my house and saw Sophia D. We hadn't seen each other for half a year, and she looked a lot more haggard. When she saw me, she quickly said, "David, I know I was wrong. Stop messing around. Okay. I know you're with Grace just to spite me. Don't worry, I won't be angry with you about this. As long as you come back to me, I'll pretend that nothing happened between you and her. Okay, I can marry you, but after marriage, I don't want to be tied to the kitchen stove. I have my own social circle, and we should still keep some space for each other. However, I promise you that I'll definitely be a good wife." Before she could finish her words, I said softly, "I'm getting married, and my wife will be Grace. Sophia, I've already told you what I should have said before. There's no possibility for us anymore." Sophia's face turned pale. She stared at me blankly, and her eyes quickly became red. She said in a trembling voice, "Why? Grace isn't as good-looking as me, and her figure isn't as good as mine. What do you see in her?" I pointed to my heart and said, "Our souls match. Every thought gets a response. I love and care for her, and she cares about me. That's enough," Sophia said, a bit excitedly. "I can do that too. David, we had a 7-year relationship, and I treated you the same way. You can't treat me like this." I looked at her deeply and said, "Sophia, stop deceiving yourself. Over the years, you know very well how I treated you, and you also know how you treated me. In your heart, I've always been inferior to that Liam. Even outsiders can see that. Don't you know it yourself?" Sophia's face became even paler. She stepped forward and grabbed my hand, begging, "David, it was my fault before. Please forgive me, okay, just this once. After we get married, I'll listen to you, okay?" I pulled my hand out of hers, shook my head, and said softly, "There's no possibility for us anymore. In a while, I'll marry Grace. If you come to congratulate us, you're welcome. However, don't let Liam come. Up to now, I still think that guy is quite disgusting." Hearing this, Sophia gave a bitter smile. She took a look behind me, and Grace came out. In front of Sophia, Grace held my hand tightly as if declaring her ownership of me. Sophia looked at Grace jealously and cried out, unwillingly, "Did you snatch him away from me? Give him back to me." Grace looked at Sophia pityingly and said, "When we were in college, I already reminded you not to get too close to that Liam. You didn't listen to my advice and always neglected David. I felt that he didn't deserve it. You don't love him, but someone else does. Sophia, please don't pester my man anymore in the future. I also hope that you can find your own other half in the future." Grace's words completely broke Sophia's defenses. She broke down and cried bitterly, then turned around and left in a daze. I felt a little regret in my heart, but there were no other emotions. Grace looked at Sophia's departing figure and said in a low voice, "Liam had a car accident and is now paralyzed from the neck down. Otherwise, she wouldn't have come to you." I was stunned for a moment and asked about the situation. Grace said that after I broke up with Sophia, Liam pursued Sophia even more vigorously, and Sophia was also wavering. Just when Sophia was about to accept Liam, he had a car accident and became paralyzed from the neck down, turning into a disabled person. How could Sophia entrust her happiness to the disabled Liam? Grace posted the news of her upcoming marriage to me on WeChat Moments and even set a reminder specifically for Sophia. So Sophia came and wanted me to get back together with her. I looked at Grace with a strange look in my eyes and said, "Honey, who did you learn this heartless tactic from? You won't use it on me in the future, will you?" Grace snorted and said to me with a smile, "It depends on your performance in the future." I put my arm around Grace's waist, looked at Sophia's lonely departing figure, and sighed in my heart. "Sophia, I don't love you anymore. I hope you can find a good person to accompany you in the future. I also hope that we won't have any more regrets in the future."